All right. Welcome to the second part of this course where we will be highlighting everything you need to know about your website. That includes why it's important, some key things you need to keep in mind about it, and why it's important to invest in it, and what to do if you don't have one. All of this other stuff, right? But for now, I wanted to talk about just the general things that we want to keep in mind about your website as it pertains to SEO. Okay, so really, I think it's best for me to stick to the example that I was using before, Bloomingdale Gardens landscape, mainly because they really found a way to exemplify exactly what it is that makes local SEO or organic search work. They've done the things that they need to do to ensure that they have the visibility in the right areas and in the right places that's going to help them be successful. Um, and their traffic growth proves it. And so essentially, your website is really your digital storefront. It's where people come to engage with your business online. It is just as important as having a brick and mortar business. I mean, or a brick and mortar location, except it's online. It's literally like that. It's your store. It's your representation of who you are as a business. It represents everything that you offer, everything that you stand for, your consistency, your success. It could represent your failures if you don't have a good website. And so your website is really the digital representation of your business online. And it's important to keep that in mind when you're doing SEO, because we often think of websites as things that we just need to get done, and then we walk away from it and we never really look at it again unless we want to change a few words. But you should really be looking at your website as an asset to your business, mainly because if you treat it that way, it will produce revenue like it's a true cash producing asset, right? It, think about it. Google is open 24/7. It never closes. People are always searching for the services and things that they need. Your website as well is also open 24/7 as long as you pay your hosting fees, of course. And it's really like your own personal salesperson. Like, we all have to go to work and get up and do what we need to do every day, right? And that action is valuable to you, right? And so when you have a representation like that on your website, it really helps to drive the revenue and sales that you expect to get. If you do things the right way, this website will put your lead generation on autopilot. You'll never have to think about how you're going to generate leads. This will consistently provide leads to you as long as your business stays open, as long as you continue to provide good services, and as long as you continue to invest in your website in the long term. If you commit to doing these things, I can almost guarantee that your website will become a cash producing asset, right? So you want to make sure you think of your website that way. Really investing in your website is really investing into your business's future, and that goes directly along with SEO, as I mentioned in previous sections. But I mean, just in general, from a branding perspective, your website represents who you are. So we want to consider it an asset. We want to think of it as a cash producing asset that we invest into in order to get returns from it, right? And if we do that, then we can easily understand the concepts and strategies that I'm going to present to you in the later part. But and as we go forward throughout this website section, I want you to keep that in mind, that your website is an asset that you invest into, and it doesn't have to be perfect at the start. It just has to be the most minimum viable product, or an MVP, and then you launch, and then you continue building on top of it. you know so um so that's what I wanted to keep in mind for you, as we go through this section. Your website is an asset, and we want to treat it as such. That way, it can become a cash flowing asset as time goes on. All right. So the next section, I'm going to talk about the importance of your website, and what to do if you don't have one. All right. See you in the next section.